Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The headline that greeted us yesterday, Peace Deal on the Beaches, was worlds apart from a tumultuous period of our history. It is only right that, as MP for Te Taitonga, I mihi to the 8 iwi of Te Tauihu, who first sought declaration from the Māori Land Court that the foreshore and seabed within the Marlborough Sounds is Māori customary land. They had the precedent of the mid-1860s when the Native Land Court accepted applications to determine title of customary land, land held by Māori in terms of tikanga Māori. In 1997, Judge Hingston ruled that yes, the Māori Land Court did have jurisdiction to consider whether foreshore and seabed is Māori customary land. His finding was then appealed to the Māori Appellate Court, to the High Court, and then to the Court of Appeal. And then exactly 7 years ago, on 19 June 2003, the Court of Appeal unanimously held that the Māori Land Court could determine the status of foreshore and seabed under Te Ture Whenua Māori Act 1993. The reaction of the then Prime Minister and Attorney General was rapid beyond belief. The day after the Court of Appeal decision, Helen Clark informed the country that steps would be taken to confirm absolute Crown title over the foreshore. She was instantly backed up by Margaret Wilson, who claimed ownership of the foreshore and seabed has long been considered to lie with the Crown, conveniently neglecting to say who exactly thought that way other than themselves. And from then on, peace would not prevail for 7 long years. Within days of the Labour government's knee-jerk response, the movement was ready to act. Lawyer Moana Jackson spoke for us all in saying that the government had denied Māori the right to a fair trial, and that will create a festering sore, a concept that John Key reflected just this week in addressing what he described as the weeping sore of the 2004 Act. The Treaty Tribes Coalition, representing most of the North Island iwi, the Taranaki Māori Trust Board and Ngai Tahu, laid a complaint with the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, stating that the act of confiscating the foreshore extinguished Māori rights. The UN Committee upheld the complaint, confirming that the legislation and the extinguishment were indeed racially discriminatory. There have been so many acts of brave opposition and courageous protest that have led to this day. No one can erase the memory of 40,000 New Zealanders marching on this Parliament, calling all of us to account. But there are other unique events. Hauraki Kaumatua Toko Renata returned the Distinguished Order of New Zealand medal as a protest against the government's handling of the issue. The Rātana movement made its first ever submission to Parliament, arguing that the foreshore bed contributed to the legislative erosion of the treaty, and some 3,946 submissions were presented to Select Committee. 94% of those opposed it. So, will peace be retained? The Māori Party campaigned to repeal the 2004 Act and to restore due access to justice, and on both counts we have done well, but that does not mean the fight is over. Māori have the right to seek customary foreshore and seabed title, which would bring benefits similar to freehold title rights, including commercial development rights and veto over other developments. Iwi and Hapu are now able to claim customary title through High Court or negotiations with the Crown. And there is now opportunity for the universal recognition, mana tuku iho. This is significant, the Crown acknowledging the mana of iwi and hapu as enduring and inalienable. A line in the sand has been drawn. The 2004 Act will go down as appalling law. Our rights to justice have been restored, but there is still much to watch over in the drafting of the legislation to ensure it expresses the treaty relationship. We must see hapu rights protected alongside iwi. The legislation must set out the nature of the development, occupation and usage rights Māori will enjoy, the actual rights, and we will be actively putting up the case for those whose relationships with the foreshore were affected by raupatu, fraudulent land transactions or other breaches of the treaty by the Crown to be recognised. Māori did not march just to repeal this discriminatory legislation. Māori marched for justice, And we as the Māori Party will continue to do all that we can to ensure that justice be done.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.